Yeah, for
Nowadays, it's like the bigger names aren't as active. There's not as many big personalities. The UFC doesn't have as much motivation on putting together these super fights because when they do, they have to pay these fighters even more money. And so it's more money out of their pocket at this point because they have so much coming in. So I don't know. Hopefully they figure it out, but something's got to give. And to give the UFC credit, they have gotten better and better as years gone on. They've raised the bar and made it. It used to be not very popular sport at all, and it's
yeah.
grown so much. So I do trust the UFC, but I do believe they're gonna have to make some adjustments, probably in the second half of this year. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I agree. And I like how you touched that. You said that like there, it doesn't seem like the name recognition is the same anymore. And I never really thought about that, but I kind of agree, dude. Like, if I went and asked my wife, like Conor McGregor, Silva, she's gonna know, right? But it's like now she would know some of these people, especially on a card like this. She's not gonna know anybody. And I feel like there hasn't been anybody in the last probably 5 years that's like a Conor McGregor or anything like that right now. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
in my
yeah,
opinion, bro,
Paddy.
the
Well,
last
Paddy Pimblett is a big promoter. Sean O'Malley, but they don't seem to have the same name though.
yeah, I feel like, in my opinion, after McGregor, kind of fell off and declined and hasn't and became inactive. Israel Adesanya had the UFC on his back for years,
Yeah,
especially during the COVID era. And then I would say the next big name that really put the UFC on his back was probably Alex Pereira. But now you got a weird situation. They got Pereira saved for the White House, but now you got a situation where these champions just aren't as active, bro. To be straight up, like
yeah,
Tom
for
Aspinall
sure.
has all these issues with the eye since the eye
Yeah,
poke,
which
so
is
the heavyweight division's all messed up. All these champion, Ilia Topuria had the divorce.
that's
Ilia Topuria should be the face of the UFC in my opinion right now for sure. But he's been inactive dealing with his divorce. But all these big names that are right now in the UFC that should be carrying the UFC on the back, they're just not active for
yeah,
whatever reason it is. And it's just not working out. Kamzat should be the face of the UFC as well. Kamzat Chimaev is a monster, bro. People
he
love
is a
watching his fights,
monster.
but the guy doesn't fight often at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, it's
And
true.
so everything's messed up right now. And even just off the top, bro, in the flyweight division, Pantoja had that freak arm injury during the fight, and now Josh Van, that's a weird situation in itself. Um, Guys just aren't fighting, bro. I don't know what it is. And then Marab was super active. He's a pretty big name, but I wouldn't say anywhere near the face of the
Yeah,
UFC. But he was a big name. But when he lost, now the bantamweight division's kind of it's
yeah,
kind of at a stagnant phase. So hopefully they can figure it out and make it exciting again. And then even with the light heavyweight division, Pereira's like basically vacating the title to go to heavyweight, and now you got like Jiri and Carlos Ulberg
that's true.
fighting, and you got Jiri, which he has some name recognition, but he's nowhere near
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Pereira and some of these other big names
He's
that
not a
we've mentioned
household
previously.
name.
So, so all I'm basically saying is like you don't have a champion that's like active and going at it and able
Yeah,
to
we
put the
don't.
UFC on their back right now. Like after Alex Pereira, it's and he still is one of the faces, and they're saving him for White Card. But aside from him, I'm like, man,
Yeah.
who's gonna step up and be that person?
So same, is this part of the like new UFC strategy, or is it like bad marketing, bad publicity? It just happens to be ironic things with all these fighters having issues at once.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I really don't know. I miss active champions, man. It really makes me, I keep saying Adesanya, but it makes me appreciate people like Adesanya who were active, and I mean even Usman did a great job of staying pretty active as
Yeah,
well. And now these champions just aren't active, bro, and something's got to give.
and
It's like once people get the bag, they really want to like nitpick their fights and have like the perfect fight, quote unquote. Because the UFC on paper is supposed to provide you 3 fights a year. You know, every UFC fighter from the company on paper is supposed to be given 3 fights a year.
interesting.
So I mean, that just tells you people are declining fights, whether it's
Yeah,
injury, money issues, whatever it
yeah,
is.
interesting.
That's why they're not being active.
Man, I'd be fighting trying to get my name out there.
Yeah, I don't get it, bro. I really don't.
Well, I feel
But
like even honestly, even
anyways,
if you win or lose, if you just get the people behind you, you're still gonna book fights. You know.